Have you ever felt stuck while speaking Italian because you just couldn't remember how to conjugate a verb? Maybe you wanted to say something simple like I go or we eat, but your mind went completely blank. Well, don't worry, this is totally normal and today I'm here to help you with that. Benvenuto o bentornato sul mio canale. Welcome or welcome back on my channel. I'm Valentina Stella, native Italian teacher, and I've helped hundreds of students master the Italian language through more than 6,000 lessons taught online. Now, one of the major complaints I hear from students all the time is the difficulty of memorizing and retaining Italian verb conjugations. Now, if you too have ever struggled with this, please keep in mind that even Italian children find conjugations challenging. So in this video, I'm going to share with you some proven techniques based on my teaching experience that will make memorizing conjugations so much easier. And if you apply them, you will start seeing results right away. And if you want to get fresh Italian learning content every week, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Also, don't forget to let me know in the comments what's the Italian verb that gives you the most trouble and which method you will try first. I would love to hear about your Italian learning journey. Ok, andiamo, let's go. So my recommendation number one, my strategy number one, strategia numero uno, is to recognize patterns and make them your friends. So what do I mean with that? If you've started learning Italian verb conjugations, then you probably heard terms like regular and irregular verbs. That means that some verbs, the regular ones, follow predictable patterns. But something that usually is not highlighted is that even irregular verbs in Italian are not completely different from the regular ones. The difference, as I usually explain these, happens in the middle, but the patterns of the actual endings are the same and are recognizable in both categories of verbs, so in both regular and irregular verbs. Now, let me give you a couple of examples and let's see how these can really help you memorize and retain conjugations much more easily. So, how do we say I eat? In Italian, that's mangio. Let me show you this. Mangio means I eat. Why? Because the verb to eat is mangiare, and mangiare is a regular verb. So how do we conjugate that? We essentially remove the last three letters. That's the category of the verb, the are verb, and we add the ending o, which is the ending for I, io. Mangio. That's how you go from mangiare to mangio. And there's no big surprise here because mangiare is a regular verb. So see, it worked exactly as expected. Now let's take another verb, a very common irregular verb, which is the verb fare. Fare in Italian means to do or to make. So how do we say I do? In Italian, we say faccio. And something strange happened here. If fare were regular, we should conjugate it like mangiare. So it would be fare, we remove are, and we add o. So if fare were a regular verb, the conjugation for I would be fo. Instead is faccio. So see, something weird happened in the middle because we added an 𝗧𝗲𝗃 that we don't know where it comes from. That's what an irregular verb is. And I know that when students face these, they start feeling very frustrated because they're like, oh my gosh, I will never remember this. This takes time and practice, but what I'm going to tell you, what I'm going to make you notice is going to help you a lot. Everyone concentrated on the fact that faccio is different from fo, but very few concentrate on the fact that, nevertheless, faccio still ends in o. So mangio ends in o, faccio ends in o, vado, another regular verb, I go, ends in o. Even if you have irregular verbs that change in the middle, the actual ending is still the same and recognizable. So if you want to say io, that will always be o. The ending will always be o, even if you have an irregular verb. Italian irregular verbs are not that weird, as I always say, as the English ones. Take, for example, verbs like to eat. In English, you say to eat, ate, eaten. They're completely different, and believe me, it's hard to memorize them for non-English native speakers. In Italian, even when you have irregular verbs, so you have some kind of regularity in the middle between the stem and the ending, the actual ending will always be recognizable. So, for example, for io will always be o. Mangio, faccio, vado, guardo, parlo. Doesn't matter if the verb is regular or irregular, the ending will be the same. Now, noticing these patterns that stays the same, the ending that stays the same, will help you tackle even the most challenging verbs, because now you know that, as weird as they may look at first glance, the fundamental patterns always repeat. So that's what I mean with notice patterns and make them your friends. Now, suggerimento numero 2, suggestion number 2, strategy number 2. Pick a template verb. So here's a secret from my teaching experience that will help you tremendously with regular verbs, and indirectly, for the reasons that I explained to you, even with irregular ones. Now, I know that you've probably been taught that you need to repeat your conjugation endings out loud to memorize them. That's what happens even in schools here in Italy when, for example, we learn Latin. But to be honest, I don't think that's really helpful. Actually, I think it's really hard and ineffective. So what do I recommend instead? Instead of repeating out loud some weird sounds that don't really mean anything, like o, I, e, llamo, ite, ono, really doesn't make any sense. Instead, pick a favorite verb for each conjugation and repeat the whole verb out loud from io to loro every time you want to practice that conjugation. So please stop just repeating just the endings. Repeat the whole verb with your template verb, your favorite verb, until you master it. This way, you will, first of all, memorize a real verb, not just the endings, and 2, develop the ear for the rhythm and the patterns of that conjugation in a much deeper and effective way. Now, when you encounter another verb of that conjugation, you will instinctively conjugate it correctly and will immediately feel if something is off, because you have developed the ear, you practice the pattern, you practice the rhythm of the verb. So, since I want to help you immediately apply this strategy, let's pick one template verb for each conjugation type, so that you can start immediately to practice this. So for are verbs, you could use parlare, which means to talk. For ere, you could use prendere, which means to take. And for ire verbs, you can use dormire. So for these verbs, from now on, anytime you need to practice your are conjugation, or you need to practice your ere conjugation, or you need to practice your ire conjugation, don't just repeat out loud the endings, but repeat out loud the whole verb from io to loro. So for example, io parlo, tu parli, lui parla, noi parliamo, voi parlate, loro parlano. And anytime you need to practice your conjugation, you repeat the whole verb. Now, if you want to practice these template verbs right away, I've created a free PDF with the conjugations of parlare, prendere, and dormire that you can download and keep handy while you practice. So click on the link in the description to get your PDF. Ok, strategia numero 3. Strategy number 3. The sticky note strategy. So far I've shared some of my best tricks and techniques, but let's be honest, learning and remembering conjugations requires practice. And this is true also for native Italian speakers. I still remember when I was a kid and I had to learn my conjugations. Do you want to know the incredible technique that we use in schools to learn conjugations? Okay, I will tell you. Te lo dico. It's repetition. Repeating until you get sick of it. I know, it doesn't sound that appealing, but it is what it is. You need to repeat your conjugations out loud so many times that they get stuck in your head. That's how we all did that. And I told you, I still remember that. I still remember when I was repeating my conjugations until I was sick. So that's the way to go. Now, I want to help you making this a little bit more fun and a little bit easier to remember, because you actually have to remember not just the conjugations, but you need to remember to practice, to repeat your conjugation. So how can we do that? I've got you covered. Let's turn this into a game. Take a few sticky notes like these ones and write on a few of them, let's say 3 or 4 of them, ripeti le coniugazioni. Repeat the conjugations. Repeat your conjugations. So after you've written that on 3 or 4 of these, you take each one of them and you place them in spots that you visit multiple times a day. For example, you can place one on your bathroom mirror, in bagno, another one next to your coffee machine, la macchina del caffè, and another one on your bedside table, il comodino. Every time you see these notes, you say the conjugations out loud. Anytime you see it, so you get into your bathroom and you see your ripeti le coniugazioni, immediately repeat your conjugations out loud, even if you're in your bathroom. Va bene? So anytime you see the post-it note, repeat the conjugation out loud. And remember, repetition is the key to success. And if you ever get discouraged or unmotivated, please remember, even Italian native students learn conjugations this way and have to go through this. So you're definitely not alone. Okay, now one last word. It takes time. We Italian people spend years and years in school learning grammar, believe me. So please be patient with yourself. The key is intelligent, consistent practice and repetition. So that's all for today. If you found these tips helpful, don't forget to hit like and subscribe to my channel for more Italian learning strategies. And if you would like to see more videos like these, let me know in the comments and I will make more. See you in the next video. Ci vediamo nel prossimo video. A presto!